This is my first video that's like really about anything. It's my first video with a green screen. So yeah, got a green screen now. Real pro YouTuber and all that. Oh my god, I can't believe I just said that. That's Today we're going to talk about Fallout New Vegas, anarchism, and the followers of the apocalypse. So, it's hotly debated among fans what the best ending to Fallout New Vegas is. I always wondered why the followers get screwed even in a good karma independent ending. It's ironic, considering they're the closest thing the Wasteland has to anarchists. And I stumbled upon this tidbit from the Fallout Wiki. In terms of philosophy, the followers combine the principles of voluntary association, cooperation, and equality characteristic of anarchism, and a disdain for conflict that bears a striking similarity to pacifism. Of course, the followers are well aware of the flaws in human nature, and ideology doesn't come before reality. Despite that, they want to bring peace back to a wasteland that tends toward destruction. Specific ideologies of the followers vary significantly, ranging from anarcho-syndicalism to socialism to communism. The source cited is an archive of Fallout New Vegas project director and lead designer Josh Sawyer's forum Spring Answers. And so, from there, I decided to delve deeper. Going in, I had a few questions I wanted answers to. 1. Are the followers of the apocalypse an anarchist group? 2. Is the independent ending an anarchist ending? And 3. What do the developers consider to be the best ending, if any? If they didn't pick one, which one seems to align closest with their own views? Alright, here we go, we're fucking doing this! 1. Are the followers of the apocalypse an anarchist group? According to Josh Sawyer's forum Spring Answers, basically yes. Question. Followers of the apocalypse. Libertarians, socialists, communists, or greens? Answer. They vary significantly, but range from anarcho-syndicatists to socialists to communists. Their general tendency to be inclusive and non-hierarchical means they don't have a single outlook or platform. Question. In the Fallout series, would you say there is anything the followers of the apocalypse did that you disagree with? As much as I can tell, they're about as blameless and noble as it gets, but maybe I missed something. Answer. At least in Fallout New Vegas, I think it's easier to find fault in what they don't do than in what they do. They tend so much toward anti-authoritarianism that they have weak internal hierarchies and a lack of clear unified direction. In The Whitewash, Anderson's activities may or may not have been noted by other followers, but even if they were, he doesn't have a boss, and the followers don't have any commonly accepted methods for dealing with rogue agents. Similarly, when Edward Sallow became Caesar, or as I like to call him Little Caesar, he essentially just sent Bill Calhoun away, and there wasn't anything here the other followers were prepared to do about it. In the Fallout New Vegas endings where the followers wind up with a lot of responsibility, their tendency to overcommit and their lack of efficient organization results in a lot of problems. Even though they heavily distrust NCR, they are only able to provide adequate services at Freeside in an ending where NCR maintains control of the Mojave. The NCR ending, that's like basically the only good ending the followers get unless you pick the Legion, and it's debatable that the Legion ending is good for them because they just get, like, exiled from the Mojave. One good ending for the anarchists in Fallout New Vegas has them basically being absorbed by the nation-state. So yeah. Okay, next question. Is the independent ending an anarchist ending? For this, we turn again to Josh Sawyer's forum Spring Answers. Question. What would be the approximate ideology of an independent New Vegas? Would it be anarchism, liberal democracy, or something else, or whatever the player courier wanted it to be? Answer. It wouldn't have a consistent ideology. Neither the kings nor the followers of the apocalypse are organized enough to actually drive the creation of a stable government. In the independent endings, the only thing that keeps a region from turning violently anarchic is the upgraded Securitron army. Fun fact, if you do the independent ending, if you're going for the independent ending and you destroy the Securitrons, fucking Yes Man just chews you out in like the most passive aggressive way. It's awesome. It's hilarious. The followers of the apocalypse themselves really struggle with the very situation they helped create. They never had enough forward momentum or centralized authority to take control of the situation, so when the situation is left to them, it's difficult for them to get things done. From this, we can determine that, well, no, the independent ending isn't really anarchist. It's Hollywood anarchism, i.e. chaos. This explanation, it kind of presupposes that some sort of centralized government or entity would be necessary to get shit done, which is a common misconception. Very common misconception. Anarchists, of course, believe in grassroots democracy, from the bottom up. Question. All of the factions in New Vegas have positives and negatives attached to their presence in New Vegas, all except the followers. They appear to be incorruptible / have no morally questionable quests. How could a faction like that survive in New Vegas? Answer. They usually can't, which is why in a lot of endings they get pushed around and or generally screwed over. Also, I'd classify the whitewash as a pretty morally gray quest. Arcade's reactions to it are fairly complex, and the followers as a group try to distance themselves from the people involved. The independent / followers-oriented endings can involve a fair amount of scrambling and hair-pulling as the move to a more liberal democracy produces a lot of chaos and compromises that the followers aren't equipped to handle. Question. So is it possible for the courier to establish his / her own nation in the Mojave? I could see a confederacy run as a representative democracy working quite well. Is this possible, or is it against what the independent ending implies? Answer. Broadly speaking, sure, but what's narrated in the independent ending doesn't naturally form a strong representative republic. E.g., the followers of the apocalypse kind of dawdle and don't take charge, and if the Securitrons haven't been upgraded, there's a lot of chaos. Next question. And however, this next question kind of, does its own thing in relation to that last one, kind of says something different. Question. There has been a lot of discussion about the independent ending of New Vegas lately. So can you clarify a few things? Does the ending allow for the courier to establish his or her own idea for a nation in the Mojave after Hoover Dam? If not, then why not? Answer. It's intentionally vague because it's the independent ending. Even if the courier walks off into the sunset, the implication is that Yes Man can more or less keep things running. So I guess at the end of the day, it's intentionally left up to your imagination. Take that as you will. So, what do the devs think the best ending is? Based on these two quotes, the independent / followers-oriented endings can involve a fair amount of scrambling and hair-pulling as the move to a more liberal democracy produces a lot of chaos and compromises that the followers aren't equipped to handle, and even though they heavily distrust NCR, they are only able to provide adequate services in Freeside in an ending where NCR maintains control of the Mojave. And the following question, we can conclude they probably see the NCR ending as the best way to go. Honestly, even though I don't have it in the script, but I was reading the Forum Spring answers, and there was this thing where somebody asked, I'm fucking crossfaded and I have ADHD. Give me a second. Where they wanted the Legion to be the bad guys at first and the NCR to be the good guys at first, but then over time, they wanted, people to see the good and bad sides of both. Morally gray, I guess? Anyways, question. You seem like a libertarian, are you? Answer. I'm not gonna fucking read. Okay. Okay, fine, I'll read it. Answer. I think personal choice is important to the government to avoid infringement of people's privacy without understanding the consequences of today. I think the U.S. housing market is a great example of this. On the business side and on the consumer side, you have people engaged in a state of prolonged region supporting delusion about system being tenable. I mean, I can tell it was tenable in 2004 and practically a moron because it's financial. The same sort of thing happened with respect crash back in 14th century with Venetian traders and 14 banking houses. In all cases, the market engaged willingly in all of the practices of economic, so all these health features same class. Also, in all cases, it was not simply direct system, everyone uses a single financial system. I don't think more regulation is a problem. First of all, we're systemic idiocy. In any case, like high transparency, less regulation would likely accomplish more. I don't think that choice protection, incentivization work well. Maybe anything book on software, libertarian, paternalism, nudge, improve decisions on health, wealth, happiness. Has some good ideas for practical versus choice protection. Whatever the fuck that means, seems like the devs were at least mildly aware of anarchism. It seems like they were kind of aware of that kind of thing. but they still have a lot of common misconceptions about it. But they did want to leave the ending up to player interpretation, so they intentionally left it vague. Overall, would I say Fallout New Vegas is an anarchist game? If you want it to be. It's not inherently, but that can be your interpretation, and that's valid. Are the followers of the apocalypse an anarchist group? They basically are, you know? And what do the developers think the best ending is? I don't fucking know. They probably left that vague too. I think they intentionally don't tell people because they want people to have their own interpretations and such. So, in closing, Fallout New Vegas is not an anarchist game, but it's a game that lends itself to anarchist interpretation. It can be because it's a role-playing game. You play a role, you role-play your character. So if you want it to be an anarchist game, if you want your character to be an anarchist and have that ending, you can have it, and it's canon, and congrats. So yeah, that's that. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you fucking feel like it, I'm not gonna force you.